What's up, people? How are you? You're joining us on a live show, video show that we're going to record for the audio podcast, which if you listen to the LTG podcast, we're live hardly ever. But when we do a live show, it's a treat for you guys. It's a treat for us. It's just easier to do, which is fun.
We treat.
It's a treat all the way around. Treat yourself. Treat yourself 2016. So myself, John Alba, we're here hanging out. We're gonna show you kind of how the behind the scenes way that we do the podcast, which is he and I jump on Google Hangouts and we act a fool for an hour and a half. Usually
Doug is naked, but outside of that,
I have a shirt on this time. Usually I am pretty naked. You see the cage. See the cage that my wife puts me in when I'm too naked a lot of the time. But no, this is cool. So I have this mobile desk that rolls around. It kind of looks like a medical desk now, which is cool.
Yep.
So I actually get to enjoy my recliner, glass of vino, and hang out and actually do the podcast this way. A little laid back. This is the chair that I just got through watching the pay-per-view in. There's a 60-inch TV over there. You can't see it. Well, I could break the fourth wall a little bit.
Let's get to this podcast. Come on, people want to talk about wrestling. People want to talk about some wrestling. Are you ready, Doug?
Dude, I was born ready.
What episode is this?
This is episode 45.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Mute your mic. I'm muting mine. I'll take us in. Ready? Countdown's on.
The following podcast has been paid for by WrestleReaction.net.
Whenever ratings suck, there's only one guy you can turn to.
His name is John Cena.
There's a lot of innuendo in this opening.
Well, I was just gonna ask, was the conception with the face up or no?
Oh, Lord.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon and his. I can't believe this. I can't understand your mumbles. I don't know what you're talking about. And bled on you. And bled on you.
Yeah, and bled on me.
Episode 45 of the LTG Podcast. Not only is it episode 45, but we are live and in color. Doug O'Mac, John Alba here, and this is your post Money in the Bank show on Sunday, June 19th. If you're listening to this afterwards, well, good for you. But if you're listening to it live on the internet via Google Hangout and YouTube, well, you are very, very lucky, my friend. Doug, how you doing tonight after watching that show?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing great. Like I said, vino and hanging out with you guys. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for listening. If you're listening outside of the live show on Sunday night, man, we just got through with the last, I would probably say it's a B pay-per-view. What would you give Money in the Bank as far as a grade? I'd probably say a B minus.
I would say a B-ish. 3 very, very good main events.
Yeah.
And that's in a pretty good tag match too. That got a little sloppy in there, but pretty good overall. We got quite a few surprises tonight that I'm not sure that we were all expecting, but this was a pretty good pay-per-view. Money in the Bank is a hyped pay-per-view. It is a big deal. They tried to push this as I don't know if you knew this, but it was a WrestleMania caliber pay-per-view.
Well,
they said that
if it was caliber to WrestleMania 32. They hit it on the head. They were good. That was a good, accurate description. 3 or 4 really good matches, and the rest of it was filler. Yeah.
Look, this was a huge night for the state of Ohio because not only do the Cleveland Cavaliers win the NBA Finals, one of the first major championships in Cleveland in decades, but they also have a homegrown champion. Dean Ambrose is the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Wow.
He cashed it in.
And any time with it, there was one match in between where someone got matchked, and Dean Ambrose is champion. Dean Ambrose is your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Now, to my count, he has won the championship twice before this because there was the Dusty finish a year ago.
And
there was the roadblock finish where he had Triple H pinned as well, but the foot was under at the last second. So they did 2 false finishes with Dean Ambrose in the past. He finally gets his moment to an enormous babyface reaction after Seth Rollins cleanly pins Roman Reigns. What a main event. Really good overall, in my opinion. What did you think of the main event, Doug?
It was really good, but let's we'll talk more about the main event. Let's just go from the top of the card. Yeah. Let's go to the bottom of the card. Let's go to the kickoff show and let's talk about everything from Money in the Bank because
I know you want to start with Breezango.
Okay. All right. So the funny thing is that we've had plenty of our listeners recognize that I was calling Tyler Breezango because of how he was being booked as Fandango, basically, for a while there. So they just merged the two together, took the D out, and now it's a tag team. And I have to say, since they've been together,
it's great.
I'm super entertained. Like they're great. The Shooting the Breeze show that they do on YouTube is hilarious, and I love that they're basically just doing the same kind of skits that they were doing on that show before matches and during backstage segments. So tonight, the whole thing with the tanning booth in the kickoff show, they show the vignette of the tanning booth. R-Truth and Goldust get their shats and giggles in by turning the heat up on them and burning them. They add the the fake peeling aesthetic to their bodies, and these guys just played it so well. It was so good, so entertaining. The whole time I'm dying out laughing. My wife and I are watching it. We're both laughing. This is a comedic team. This is their role right now. Okay, now it doesn't have to be that way forever. But as of right now, they're a tag team who's out there to add comedic elements to the show, lighten the mood up a little bit. And I thought they did a fantastic job tonight. The match, the way they sold the sunburn throughout the entire match.
And it was a good match.
It was a really good match, yeah.
And Goldust got a nice little pop there at the end. He ended up hitting his finisher. It was
nice
good.
Final cut. Nice final cut.
Very nice final cut. Good stuff. And yes, the banana rubbing it into, what was it? The follicles, he was calling it, right? Or something like that. Yeah, like
no, you don't. No, you don't eat it. Rub it into your follicles.
That was
as he's eating it, as he's eating another one. Yeah, he goes to drink the martini and it's lotion. It's just funny. It's funny.
It was pretty good. Yeah, stuff there. The Dudleys faced the Lucha Dragons because screw you. And
because F you, the Dudleys don't mean a thing. Byron's, I sent you guys a message in the Facebook chat that we have, all of us, the Wrestle Reaction guys, all 4 of us constantly talk to each other. And as soon as Byron Saxton said, the Dudleys just came in and they thought they were going to get their 10-time tag team championship reign. And when that didn't happen, they just want to make everybody's lives as miserable as theirs.
Yeah, they did. This was a waste, and right now the Dudleys are a waste, and that stinks, but it's the truth, and you better believe it. Did you make anything of this match, Doug?
No, it was a waste.
No, I agree. Listen, guys, we are live right now on YouTube, on Google Hangout via Wrestle Reaction. Don't forget, you can check out WrestleReaction.net every single day. After Monday Night Raw, tomorrow there will be a Wrestle Reaction program. You will want to watch that as well. And you got to make sure that you're interacting with us because we are live. We're checking Twitter. We're monitoring. So if you've got anything you want to throw in the mail call, we still can take some mail calls here. Hashtag mail call at the LTG Podcast at Wrestle_Reactor. Just give us your thoughts on Money in the Bank. Live tweet it to us. Let's continue. Let's go into the main card here, Doug. And we started with a very hot fatal 4-way tag team match. Every team was over in this for the most part. And this was a good showing all the way around. I thought it got a little sloppy at times. They tried to do a lot with the finish, and I think that kind of misconstrued things. But overall, a pretty good match.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad either. I mean, I thought having all 4 guys come out. I mean, Enzo and Cass starting off the tag team match with the usual gimmick was great, was fantastic. On fire, crowd was all for it. The initial pop was great, and then really good heat on the Vaudevillains. So it's not like the Vaudevillains are just a chump tag team at this point. It's like I don't look at the Vaudevillains and think the Colognes. Like I don't look at the Vaudevillains and think these guys are wastes. Like
no, not at all.
You know what I mean? Like or the Ascension. Like those are waste tag teams. And the Colognes got repackaged as the Colognes, and then they did one match, and then they're back off TV. Obviously, they're trying to fine-tune some things, like the fact that their tag team is called the Shining Stars and that their finish is called the Shining Star. Probably not going to be the same thing that we see whenever they come back on TV. But it's, they're wastes. I don't look at the Vaudevillains this way anymore. I never did, but I was just waiting for the fans to show that they don't. And the fans in the arena tonight were just booing them as a heel tag team.
They hit the Whirling Dervish, and it got a nice near fall. It was good.
All 4 teams looked very strong.
Yeah, the weird finish with Gallows just kind of staggering around the ring. We had a couple of those moments tonight. We had one in the women's
dining around the ring. Yeah, it was very weird. He was just kind of mumbling and grumbling, waiting for Big E. Big E was talking trash to him.
He was just standing there.
And he's just standing there, and Big E's like, "You want to go? You want to go?" And he just kind of, in my back of my mind, I'm like, is he trying to tell him, get out of the fucking ring right now? Like, is that
for Kofi to hit the spot? Kofi was a little late on the spot.
Yeah, but why? Gallows didn't have anything to do with that. He's just
no, Gallows got hit by Kofi,
and then standing around,
and it was that was weird. But overall, the match was very good. The New Day did retain. If there's anyone who's going to be booked to break this record, it certainly seems like it's going to be the New Day, no?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they've got, like we had talked about on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
5 more days, I think, or something like that.
Yeah. Talked about it a couple weeks ago. They're closing in on being the longest reigning tag team champions. Paul London and Brian Kendrick are your longest reigning ones. Is that 351?
I think it was in the 330s, maybe.
331 then.
I could be wrong.
331. It could be 331. And you have the New Day. If the New Day carries it past Battleground, yeah, you're looking at new tag team champs. So they should go a year. They should go all the way to SummerSlam.
Oh, I mean, just to give us a year-long celebration segment.
Yeah, exactly.
But this was great. And look, nice shot in the arm for the tag division. And I mean, Enzo and Cass are the real deal, man. They are the real freaking deal, and they have money printed all over them, and they are a blast to watch.
You called it. You saw who was on hard camera.
Oh yeah. This normally the champions go in the hard cam tag corner. It was not them. It was Enzo and Cass.
Big Cass's mug on the hard camera all night. Yeah.
So that is not a coincidence, my friends.
No,
that is very, very much on purpose. And yes, that's your boy Bugs. Oh my goodness.
What's up, Vince?
Oh. What do we get next, Doug?
What was next? What was after the tag match? It was, again, we had 3 waste matches right after the tag match.
I'm trying to think.
Corbin and Ziggler?
It was Corbin and Ziggler. It was Corbin and Ziggler. I believe it was Corbin and Ziggler, at least. I'm going to look up the roster while everyone's feeling like, what the, why don't they know? He should really know what
we just watched it, John. Y'all should know.
No, I mean, I watched the tag match, which was great, and then got turned off by the second and third matches.
Yeah, okay, I got it. It was Corbin and Ziggler. They had a 12-minute and 23-second. 12-minute and 23-second match. This match was longer than the tag team match.
It was way too long.
But it had a nice little finish to it. I enjoyed the final 3 or 4 minutes. And God, you said this too. Corbin hit so hard, or at least fake hard. He looked great.
Yeah, he looked phenomenal.
Throwing punches. I know you're over Ziggler. He certainly did not.
HBZ? The ripoff of Shawn Michaels? That's all he's become. He's not Dolph Ziggler anymore. He's not the show off.
Corbin saved him today when Dolph slipped on this. But I mean,
that was amazing.
How impressive was that from Corbin to muscle him up into the deep 6? That looked so impressive.
Yeah, it was good. That was a legit saving because Dolph Ziggler about ate his face into the mat, slipping off the steps. Yeah, and Corbin got the deep 6 and then came in and hit a nasty end of days to get the victory. And again, as the commentators were alluding to, and we'll talk about the commentary during this pay-per-view because I wanted to shoot myself multiple times listening to these guys go off, and I don't care what anybody thinks about this commentary too. Well, JBL's good. No, he's not. None of them are good. None of them are good. None of them are good. None of them.
But are any of them good?
None of them are good. Okay. But they did at least both Michael Cole and Byron Saxton said, this should be the end of the feud, right? Like this should be the end of the feud. This should be the end of the feud. So hopefully this is the end of the feud.
So
Corbin
when they face
on to something.
when they face off at Battleground. Okay. Anyway, then we had Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Natalya and Becky Lynch. This was a 7-minute match. I thought this was a pretty decent match. They had, again, you talked about that Frankenstein thing. They had a really weird moment where Natty was waiting to get dragged by Charlotte and was like way too close to Becky for the tag. And she was literally like, it was like a dolphin out of water, like trying to crawl back to the ocean, but couldn't quite get there. We might have to throw that in the intro. But
7 years I trained dolphin. 7 years.
Did you really? No, that was
up on the tail.
Yeah. That was terrible. But it was see, now you know what it looks like when Doug and I get laughing. Wow, and they yeah, we're going there. This match was okay, but the big thing about it is Charlotte and Dana get the win, and Natty turns, and I was talking about earlier in the night with Wrestle Prediction. I alluded to it. I thought it might happen here too, especially when you said it too. The prolonged entrance where they're just hugging each other, and on the pre-show they were saying how much they love each other. And Natty turns, and which is so crazy because Natty is one of their most over baby faces, men or women, but they're turning her. And my God, this is happening, Doug. This is actually happening. We are getting congruent women's wrestling programs.
Okay, for fans that may not know what that word means, explain congruent.
We're going to have at least 2 going on at the same time.
That's my shocked face. We haven't seen this yet. Let's join in the marks that saw the Battleground preview and go, oh, well, Sasha's coming because she's in the Battleground preview.
She might be.
But my lord, it's taken this long to get her involved. We'll see if she does. I don't even think she does. To me, Paige is the one that's gotten clean victories over the champ.
Paige got the clean victories. Now, look, they could totally say, screw you, John, and they could just do a triple threat.
Absolutely they could, because,
They could, but
WWE logic says that that's what they'll do, John.
I'm glad that they at least recognize that Becky can hold her own as a babyface and is getting good responses. And I mean,
she got a massive pop when she came out. And like what I was talking about, the entrance gave it away. Clear as day, the entrance gave it away because they came out. Becky's doing her thing. Natalya comes out and she's holding up her hands, and it's like a spark went off that she remembered she's supposed to hug Becky. Because she literally had to pull Becky's arms down and be like, "Oh, hey, come on, we got to do a hug so people see us hug." And they do this awkward hug at the entranceway, and I'm like,
"Just get out there and hug."
I look at Beth. I look at Beth, and I'm like,
"Splitsville."
She may turn here. I don't see her going with Charlotte and Dana, but she may turn here. And well, there you go.
I like that they didn't have her side with Charlotte either, because that wouldn't have made any sense. So anyway, decent match, and hey, it looks like, knock on wood, we'll get 2 programs going on here. That takes us to Apollo Crews and Sheamus.
Crews.
This was a pretty decent match. Sheamus was great in this. Crews was good. Crews had a few really nice spots. The moonsault off the apron.
The belly to belly to toss him out. Belly to belly, and then the moonsault. Those 2 moves back to back were fantastic.
People want to hate on Sheamus, but this guy is so freaking good in the ring.
But the hating on him, this is what I told you guys. The hating on him has nothing to do with his ring work.
Right.
It's always with creative. It's always with how they book him. It's the 1-800-fella stupid, lame commercials. It's the League of Nations horse crap that they booked him in for so long that was so stupid. It's not the he cashed in and won in 5:15. It's not that. It's the fact that they make him a joke when it comes to his character, yet he consistently has great, strong, brutal showings in the ring.
Right.
And that's the thing. When you watch a Sheamus match, the fans get behind it. Were they dead because of the Divas going into this match? Yeah. But Apollo Crews and Sheamus brought him back in, and they got hot by the end of the thing. That's good. That means that you're having a good match.
I really like the finish of this too, where Sheamus, because they're going with the whole new era is better than the old era thing, and Sheamus got so cocky that this new era guy just took advantage of him, rolled him up. We need more finishes like that.
Absolutely.
And it was good, and I really liked it. I really did. And it was a good showing by Crews. Not amazing, but it was a good showing, and maybe this will build towards another match at Battleground, I would imagine, with maybe a stipulation or something. It should be good. Should be good. That brings us to our first main event of the night. This was the second longest match of the night. AJ Styles and John Cena. What did you think of this match, Doug?
Initial impressions, because I think we all predicted AJ Styles to win this. So we got to think it's at least a 3 pay-per-view program, if not longer. Cena typically does 3s and outs, and most of the time he wins the second and third matches. So the first match got to go to Styles. And when the club was banned from ringside, we knew something, whether it's them or Finn Balor debuting, somebody was going to get involved here and give Styles the win. That's exactly what we saw with the finish. But overall, the match itself, these guys did just about everything they have in their arsenals to get the crowd into it. I mean, and the crowd was already into it from their entrances. I mean, you had the Rock Hogan aspect at the beginning where the crowd was just amped to see Styles versus Cena. First time they've ever seen this.
You know, Doug, we kind of had this argument going on in our chat, and I said this on Wrestle Prediction. I didn't want them to throw everything at the wall if we're going to get more matches here. And I didn't think they threw everything at the wall, but I think they threw just about everything.
Well, by God, Cena didn't do a springboard stunner, which I hope is just out of his
I think it's gone.
Arsenal.
But he did do a nice monkey flip today.
That monkey flip was good. Yeah.
But I mean, AJ used every single one of his finishers except the phenomenal forearm. And
he went for that and missed.
Right, exactly. And Cena used all of his stuff. And I thought they told a really good story. They were talking about
Cena doesn't have a lot of stuff.
No, but they were talking about Cena they were trying to make it like he was gassed and like his leg was hurting from the calf crusher. So when he did the You Can't See Me, the 5-knuckle shuffle, he didn't actually bounce off the ropes because
I said this is the most Cena has sold in a match since Brock.
Yeah, this was pretty good. I thought it was a very good match. The finish was exactly how you could have seen it playing out. You know, I don't know where you go now. Do you throw the club directly in his corner? Do you do 1-on-3 at Battleground? Do you do banning the club? I don't know. Because the way I put it to you,
banning the club doesn't work.
Because the way I put it to you was, man, they could carry this directly into the draft and into the brand split where these two go off on their own brand together too and continue this.
Yep.
So you think that's probably where we're heading with this?
It's possible. I don't know if they're going to draft the club together because I'm thinking, they made it out to where the finish of this match obviously was the ref gets kicked, club comes out, drops Cena, they put Styles on top, and even JBL's disgusted at this. So easily the story could go, AJ Styles was not incredibly happy with how this happened. Yes, you saw Styles watch the footage on the screen and smile and laugh about it, whatever.
Pretty happy to me.
However, the club can insist that he couldn't beat Cena without them.
Yeah.
And when you get to the point where there's tension, whenever the tension comes and these guys go their separate ways.
I don't know if that's where we're heading with this. So.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying they played it out, even with JBL making the statement that this was deplorable. That AJ Styles could not be happy with the fact that how he won this match as well.
Big match.
That could lead to the club having friction, parting ways, and maybe in the draft split they don't all go together. We are expecting Finn Balor to be up anytime soon. Will Balor be the head of the Balor Club? They already have merch printed out for that. We'll see.
Does he come to Cena's aid to say, hey, I know these guys. I know how to beat them. And then maybe down the line, turns on him too? Could be something. Could be something to look out for. I think that actually, I'll tell you what, we keep hearing that Finn Balor is imminent. I would love to see him go babyface into Battleground with Cena taking on the Club and Styles, and then that sets up for Balor Cena at SummerSlam. Just throwing some fantasy book in here. That'd be cool, even though obviously there's a lot more money right now in Nakamura versus Balor in NXT TakeOver in Brooklyn. So,
well, again,
you can wrestle.
Balor's going to be part of the draft.
One would imagine he would be.
I would assume more than anything that Balor, who only has to go do one more match in NXT, 2 nights before or the night before SummerSlam on Saturday, August 20th, he has to go do one more match with Nakamura. Easily be right back, right back on the show the next night. We've seen this multiple times. We saw it with Kevin Owens at the last NXT Brooklyn. Came back and did the ladder match with Finn Balor, even though he was already on the main roster. So it can happen. It's not like it's not set in stone that he has to stay in NXT. So I would assume he's part of the draft, because that's a big, if you're gonna have NXT people in the draft, like Bayley, whoever else you bring up to put in that, like American Alpha, you got to have big names like Finn Balor, American Alpha, and Bayley to make NXT guys and girls from NXT seem important in the draft.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And we're only a few weeks away from that. And don't forget, you guys are watching Living the Gimmick right now. You're listening to it. This is presented by WrestleReaction.net. We're going to have a draft right before the draft. We're going to have a mock draft of our own where Doug and I of the LTG crew, the blue crew, are going to go against the red-purple crew of Wrestle Reaction. So, that's going to be cool, and you won't want to miss that for sure. And don't forget, you guys can tweet at us at the LTG Podcast, at Wrestle_React, at Doug O'Mac, at John Alba. We're checking Twitter. We're keeping an eye on things. Use hashtag mail call. We got a mail call coming up in just a little bit. This takes us to the Money in the Bank ladder match, a really, really, really good Money in the Bank ladder match with 6 guys who were awesome. No surprises in this. Dean Ambrose won the Money in the Bank briefcase. No crazy out of this world bumps, which I'm okay with considering how many guys get hurt left and right. They set up that mega structure of ladders and nothing really ended up happening with it, which is okay.
Except for having 3-way rocker punches, which was fantastic.
Well, I did like at the end that the match climax with all 6 of them being up there.
Yeah.
And that was good. Alberto Del Rio was amazing in this match, Doug. I thought he stole the show in this match.
MVP of this match. As much as I'm a huge proponent for Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. I've followed their careers since it started. Love Ring of Honor. Love watching these guys come up and be part of the WWE structure now. Which, when Owens took that Michinoku driver on the ladder sitting straight up, and JT in the chat was like, "Oh my God, he's dead," and I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen that spot. It's awesome. I love that they do that. I love that they did it here, because we can't do the package pile driver on a ladder, but we can at least get that." But yeah, I mean, I love watching those guys, but Alberto Del Rio was on fire, like literal fire, was going crazy, getting every spot he could think of in, doing the great Trio of Woe stuff with Sami Zayn with the ladder, and then putting Cesaro up there and doing the double stomp. Only time that I've thought the double stomp was acceptable. Yeah. Because it made sense. Like, there's a ladder there. It's hard to get off of, it's hard to get out of that.
Just make this guy a baby face.
I know. Well, the fans were chanting for him the whole time. Like, I mean, every punch, every kick, every throw of a ladder into somebody else, they're chanting C for him. He's pumped. He's doing the arm pump with them. Like, he's got them. He's got the fans. All they got to do is turn him face. And kudos to all 6 guys for like the backstage stuff throughout the night before. Right. And these 6 guys are the ones that are stealing the show outside of Cena and Styles, or at least Styles has for the last 2 or 3 months in the main event. These are the guys that have been stealing the show before that. These are the guys that were in the IC title matches that everybody's going, "Oh my God, the IC title picture is getting really good because of these guys." And you throw in Jericho and Ambrose, and you got a recipe for greatness. And that's exactly what we saw tonight, man. You didn't need a 7th guy. You didn't need anybody else but these guys. And the backstage stuff with Jericho and Owens, where you could tell it wasn't scripted, they were just going off. And that was fantastic. It just goes to show where you don't have to be scripted backstage and it be good. Sami Zayn and Cesaro was very scripted, and that's why I didn't feel like it came off as well as the segment with Owens and them. And then Ambrose got his single. Nobody interrupted Ambrose, which was like the biggest telltale sign that he's winning this thing. Comes in, knocks Owens off, gets the briefcase, and before the match even started, all of us were talking about who could win and what aspect do we see. And, you were like, well, the betting odds changed to Ambrose, not Owens anymore, all this kind of stuff. And I was like, well, look, the only logical way this makes sense is if he cashes in later tonight. And I just don't know if they're going to do that because a Shield triple threat should be. But then we were posing it as he cashes in to be a triple threat. And I was like, that's the wrong move if they're going to do a triple threat because Shield triple threat should be promoted, which we'll talk about at the end of this,
But in Ambrose's promo, and I made note of this when he goes, yeah, it's fun being up Seth Rollins.
Yeah. It's fun being upset.
I'm like,
Yeah. It was very evident after the promo and the way the match was going. It was just kind of like, okay, Ambrose is winning this thing, and he very well could cash in tonight. And that to me, that's like the only logical way this thing happens because you got a brand split coming up, and you're gonna have a Money in the Bank holder. The thing that scares me about this is this screams 2 titles to me.
Well, that is exactly what this is, and that is the point I was waiting to make. Him cashing in right now was to get it off the hands so we don't have this lurking around because they are going to separate the entities for good. And that is exactly how I saw it as well. And I'm fine with this. Look, it would have been great to have a guy like Kevin Owens or Cesaro win this. But here's the deal. When you split those titles up, which, look, you know what? If they actually put equal precedence into Raw and SmackDown, 2 titles won't be a bad thing. But if you actually do it right, Kevin Owens and Cesaro are going to be in your title pictures anyway on those respective brands. So, you made the argument before that Ambrose didn't need the Money in the Bank to get involved with the Shield. And you could argue that one way or the other because I could argue against that and saying, well, guess what? He lost clean every single time he challenged for that. So why should he deserve to be involved in that? But those guys are going to be right there in the title picture regardless. And Ambrose had a reason to get involved. And I thought the execution of this was great. And I thought that him winning Money in the Bank, the crowd loved it. They ate it up. And the end of the day, I think every single one of those guys in that Money in the Bank match are going to get their due and are going to be involved in prominent programs going into the draft.
Yeah, I agree. Again, this is the only way Ambrose winning this is not a waste. Okay, Ambrose hanging on to this thing for months was a waste, in my opinion, because he's lost so many times cleanly. Sure. I'm like, well, okay, he's going to cash in and lose this thing at some point, and then it's going to be a waste.
Not only that, but Money in the Bank winners have a terrible history too. Once they hold the briefcase, that they just lose and lose and lose and lose and lose, and you could
and he's already been losing like that, and he's looked like a chump the last few weeks. It's frustrating. Like, at least, again, we'll get to this point, and I'll make my point when we get to the main event. But this was logical. He won the briefcase. This wasn't WWE logic. I know people are going to want me to say that there. It's not because of what they went with after, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, by the way, I want to say this real quick before we get into the U.S. title match. Happy birthday to our buddy Ed. Ed's always a big fan of the show. He turned the dirty 30 today.
Yeah, and Justin Zidar as well.
Yes, Justin as well. So happy birthday to you guys. We love you. Keep supporting Living the Gimmick. We appreciate it. And let's get to this U.S. title match. You're going to have to talk a little more about this one than I can because my eyes were all over Game 7 at this point, which was an amazing game, and LeBron James had the greatest block in the history of basketball. But this match seemed okay from what I saw. It went a little longer than I thought it was going to. Let me see what it clocked out to. It clocked out to 8:30, which I'm actually surprised it got that long.
Fine.
But it seemed like it was okay, and Rusev got a great promo at the end of it.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about this Rusev because this Rusev is amazing.
Awesome.
Okay,
awesome.
They're allowing him to be more of himself instead of the Russian Bulgarian character that he was 2 years ago.
AKA BU.
It would be long-haired, goatee.
Rusev is portraying Doug O'Mac right now.
Pretty much, because that's the kind of promo I would have cut after this thing. So the match was good. It was good. It didn't need to be any longer than it was. I've said multiple times, Titus O'Neil is not someone that can go long. He was the hot tag team guy. He was not go in there and do more than a 7 to 8 minute match. He's not that guy. And it was well done. He came out, kissed his kids, happy Father's Day. They talked about him being Father of the Year for like 3 years, and Father of the Century and Father of Millennium and all that kind of stuff, just to let you know, hey, it's Father's Day. And this guy was suspended, and we're giving him a title match, and his kids are here.
Titus O'Neil is a great father, by the way.
I'm not sure if you knew this, but he is Father of the Universe.
Okay.
Father of the heavens and earth. He is the father of fathers. And so he has his kids at ringside. He comes in, he does his thing, kisses them, whatever, gets in the ring, breaks out of the accolade once, but can't do it twice and has to tap. Again, Rusev looked great. Lana introduced him as her fiance and everything to give you more of their, Total Divas role. That's going to increase. I know that you will probably watch that or know more about that than I will, since
they're doing 2 weddings.
The females in your life keep up with that show. So I don't know anything about that, but you can fill me in on what happens there. And then, but obviously that's the tie into everything they're doing, because they're going to have 2 weddings, basically, just like Natty and Tyson and all that good stuff. But the match was short and sweet, 8 minutes to give a break between the ladder match and the main event. It was perfectly placed, and the promo afterwards was one of the highlights of the night for me. Goes over to the kids and asks them, "Do you see your daddy?" And he talks about how he just destroyed him, and the kids slapped him in the chest, which was hilarious to me. Rusev just acted like it didn't happen, turned around and went, "Happy Father's Day," and walked off. Just trolleration Rusev, which was fantastic.
Yep. So that brings us to the main event: Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. It was exactly the kind of dynamic that you would have expected. Roman Reigns did not get any cheers. Seth Rollins got all the cheers. And I had suggested prior to this night beginning that this would be the start of a double turn, not do a full-blown double turn, but the start of one. And I don't think I was wrong. I don't think I was necessarily right, but I also don't think I was wrong, because Roman Reigns worked this match as the heel and Seth Rollins worked as the babyface, with the exception of him taking advantage of him while he was hurt.
And we talked about it last week on the podcast. Like, double turn needs to happen. I've said it 1,000 times. I've said it on this show. I've said it multiple times in Wrestle Reaction. I've said it since the fall of 2014. If they don't turn Roman Reigns heel, they're shooting themselves in the foot, because they have this title and this guy. They literally have named him the guy. Byron Saxton had another terrible line where he's like, "Well, it's the man versus the guy. Something's got to give."
Well, they've been teasing it that way. For a few weeks.
Ridiculous, and it pisses me off. But they're forcing this thing down our throats. It's not working out. We kept saying, when is Vince going to realize? It took a year with Kevin Nash, took a year with Diesel to realize this guy, as good as he looks, as good as he's built, he's not the guy. And it's been over a year and a half with Roman Reigns. That said,
they were awesome.
Rollins came out, babyface reaction, played the babyface the entire time outside of taking advantage when he was hurt. Roman Reigns played the heel the entire time, smack talking.
Yeah, they were great.
Smiled at the crowd when they were chanting "Roman sucks."
Anyone who says that Roman Reigns can't wrestle is just
okay. Nuts. Yeah, okay. I'm all for the chants of Roman sucks and all this kind of stuff to let the boys in the back know you don't want him as champion. Chant that. That's fine. That's what happened with Rocky. Start chanting "Die Roman Die." We'll see if we get a full-on heel turn. But Roman sucks. I'm fine with. Booing him out of the building, I'm fine with. Don't chant "You can't wrestle" at the guy, because he can, and he's proven that he can. Yes, when he's in the ring with really good guys like Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Seth Rollins, do they make him shine? Of course, you're supposed to make your opponent look better than they are. But that's proof that you can wrestle. Is that you not only are you providing, the partner to the dance, but you're making the guy in the ring look better than they are. And that's he is a good wrestler at that point.
Mick Foley was not the greatest technical wrestler in the world, but he had people that he could dance with, and they put on great matches.
Yeah, and so, chanting "you can't wrestle" at guys like Roman Reigns is a little bit of going into business for yourself as a crowd.
It is.
Don't do
What
that.
Roman does so well. Roman,
Don't do that.
and this is something that Kurt Angle always used to talk about. Few guys could match Kurt Angle's intensity in the ring, and Roman Reigns is so intense in the ring. And I really do think he has developed into a fantastic ring worker. Am I going to say he's the most technical wrestler in the world? No, but I think he knows how to tell a good story. He got a great story with Seth Rollins here. They were beating the crap out of each other. And, man, this... They do the running spear into the pedigree, and then he hits him with another pedigree for the finish. A clean finish. Finish. Did this surprise you?
No, the clean finish didn't surprise me. I didn't know how it was going to go down, and as soon as I realized he's hit 2 pedigrees, this is the finish. I'm like, wait for Ambrose because this is happening. The biggest telltale thing was Vince hopefully has realized by the showing we got tonight, Rollins played the babyface, Reigns played the heel. Got to keep that going. Got to keep Reigns as the heel here. It's the guy the fans want to boo. Let them boo him. Let him recognize that the fans want to do that and use that to be a heel.
Because now, guess what? Seth Rollins got screwed.
Seth Rollins is the one that got screwed with the briefcase cash in. He can complain about that and be a tweener, whatever. That's fine. He can do his little crybaby stuff if he wants to. That's fine. He gets a rematch though. That's there.
Both of them get rematches, which will be the point that we're going to go into next. But
yes. So there are rematches awaiting, which will lead us to what was supposed to take place at WrestleMania at one point, the Shield Triple Threat match. And they're gonna have time with Ambrose cashing in and beating Seth Rollins. They're gonna have time to build towards. They got 5 weeks of doing it at Battleground. That's a lot of time to build towards the Shield Triple Threat that we've been waiting to see for a while. And it's for the title, which is big. That's big stuff. So this has happened. It's logical. The thing is, Vince, I think time will tell, but it looks like Vince has realized Roman Reigns is not the guy at the time being. At the time being, right now, he's not the guy.
Let's slow down a little bit.
No. I'm just saying, let me make my point. To me, the way it came off was, okay, maybe we need to pump the brakes a little bit and help organically build this guy into the guy, because the way that you've been pushing him has not led to him being the guy. Now, we've been saying it for over a year and a half. If you organically let it happen, the guy's gotten better in the ring tenfold. He's good in the ring. You let the character progress with the fans, and it won't kill him. But if you keep forcing him down our throats as the guy, it will kill him. So hopefully they keep this off and they keep fighting for the title for a little while, and then we get the Shield Triple Threat either at Battleground or SummerSlam, whatever it is, and we get to that and we keep going, but we allow Roman Reigns to be the heel whether he's champ or not. Let him be the heel. Let him organically be the heel that the fans want to boo, and then later on, don't jump the gun. Let it play out for 6 months, 8 months, a year. Then do something cool where the fans start getting behind him as with him being a badass heel. And then you'll have an organic guy that you can say, okay, this is the guy.
My question, Doug. What is the main event at Battleground? Because you can't do the Shield Triple Threat at Battleground, but could they? They love multi-man championship matches at Battleground.
Yeah,
they love them.
Could they hotshot this thing and do it now instead of at SummerSlam? Absolutely, they could.
The only way that you could do it at Battleground is if it's a weird, screwy finish at Battleground, which gets you to a straightforward match at SummerSlam. But I don't want to see that. I want that to build and marinate. I want it to marinate over the next month or so and really build this towards something big. Could they do a number one contenders match between Roman and Rollins with a screwy finish where both of them are that? Maybe, but they're both number one contender technically. So I don't know where they go with this.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, even though Seth Rollins trumps Roman Reigns as number one contender right now because he gets a rematch.
Roman's still number one.
Well, here's the deal. Roman would have gotten a rematch had it remained Seth Rollins being the champion. Dean Ambrose cashes in and beats Seth Rollins, so the rematch clause kind of goes out the door because he's not.
Does it?
That's how they've done it before, my friend.
Have they? I can't think of an instance.
I have argued multiple times about this.
Well, I mean, if that happens,
but they should both have rematch.
Maybe you get Seth. I guess in that case, you could get Seth and Dean at Battleground, where Roman interrupts it and injects himself because he's pissed off that he didn't get a rematch.
Don't get it twisted, my friend. Raw is opening tomorrow night, or if you're listening to this audio-wise, and it's past midnight anyway. If you're watching Raw tonight, the opening segment will be Dean with the title on the microphone. In comes Rollins, or in comes Reigns, or it could be vice versa. These guys are going to start the show in at least a 10-minute talking segment. And Seth is going to say he gets a rematch. Roman's going to say that he gets a rematch. And that literally could lead them to booking the triple threat at Battleground from the start of Raw.
That would be a mistake.
Well, I'm just going to say that's how the show's going to start.
Would be a mistake. I kind of like my idea a little more.
Well, you know what? They don't use long-term logic there, John.
But to their credit, and I will. This is the one thing I will give commentary credit on tonight. They really nailed it at the end with Dean celebrating that this was full circle. That 2 years ago, Rollins screwed Ambrose at Money in the Bank, and now Ambrose rectified that at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I mean, it just so. I mean, they had to.
It happened.
Just so happened
that way, but still, they actually they hit on that. Logical.
Yes, they did. They at least acknowledged it. So I was happy with that, because 4 weeks ago the plan was not Ambrose, and the plan was not the fact that Seth Rollins is going to be there doing a match with Roman Reigns, because they didn't know when Seth Rollins is going to come back until about 4 or 5 weeks ago. So that's how that works. It just happened to be, okay, well, we have this awesome opportunity to give Ambrose the briefcase, which takes that out of the equation for the draft split. This gives Ambrose a shot as champion for a little while, which should change people's, it'll either put a lot of heat on Roman or at least will get us to a different storyline. And it rectifies the 2 year ago thing of Money in the Bank.
All I'm saying is every single member of the Shield has now held the championship. And if that doesn't prove that this was one of the greatest staples of all time, I don't know.
Modern history, I'll give it to you.
And I'll tell you what, there's still a crap ton of money in them reuniting down the line.
Yep.
So that's going to be awesome, and it will be super. This is your last chance to get in mail call questions. Everyone, hashtag mail call at the LTG Podcast, at John Alba, at Dogomac, at Wrestle_React. But now it's time to cue up that cowbell Kevin Owens, because it's time for the rumor control. All right, Doug. The rumor this week was initially reported by Forbes.com, and it was that WWE has reached out to a lot of older talent to come back for the brand split. Some names mentioned: Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, Goldberg, even though that's probably them just screwing things up with the Video Game Association. Meltzer today said Stevie Richards, MVP Carlito. Are you buying that any of these guys will actually come back?
This whole draft and brand split, I'll buy that some people will be returning. I mean, hell, you got Tajiri in the Cruiserweight Classic.
We do.
So I'm not saying that none of these guys are going to. I can't sell that all these guys aren't coming back. Some of them may. I mean, Stevie Richards has been he's been leading DDP yoga workshops in Atlanta at the Performance Center. Dude is still in good shape. Weird that he's the one that they want to bring back, but at the same time,
he's a veteran.
You want to make Primo and Epico
exactly
have a spark to them. Exactly. You put Carlito with them.
Yeah. Let me micromanage this question a little bit then. Let's get it to the biggest name there, because I'm not counting Goldberg. Kurt Angle. Is this where they finally say to themselves, okay, we need to do this. Let's bring Kurt Angle back?
Well, if they've, and don't get it twisted, they definitely do this. They keep up with stuff on social media. They saw the reaction Kurt Angle got, facing Sabre Jr. 2 weeks ago. Sabre Jr., who has a chance of winning the entire Cruiserweight Classic. I mean, let's face it, dude's amazing. They could see that reaction and go, okay, maybe we take a shot with Kurt and just see what happens. Is he a prominent wrestler on the show? No. Could they use him as in some kind of like authority or general manager role and he wrestles every now and then? Absolutely they could. But this is all determined on Vince's reaction and retort of what he said before, which is, I want nothing to do with Kurt Angle anymore.
Yep. But you know what? Triple H has worked some crazy deals in the past. You never know. You never know. I'm going to buy that they're going after him and that they want him back. I'll buy into that. And I mean,
it's a huge name, and he should go in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, he will.
But I mean, you could use him on TV, building up to that. So
I'm with you, man. And you know, as far as
Goldberg goes,
I really think that was them just screwing up, like with the promotion for the video game and whatnot.
Again, could they? Because he is going to be part of the video game. We've seen that track record.
But he's not going to be wrestling on Raw or SmackDown, you know?
No, not consistently, no. But could he be used for something? Yeah.
You know? By the way, at Robert O'Reilly, or pardon me, at Irish Bobuk, which is Robert O'Reilly, tweeted at us. He said, Shield triple threat at Battleground. Seth pins Ambrose, which leads to Ambrose Rollins versus Reigns at SummerSlam. So that's interesting for sure. I still don't want to see that. I want to wait for the triple threat match. But hey, we'd be remiss also if we didn't mention the whole Jerry Lawler stuff that happened. He was arrested for domestic abuse. He is off TV until that all gets cleared. He might never come back, even if he's unsuspended.
Yeah.
He might never come back on TV because they've been trying to write him off TV for a while. So he might never come back.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that a little bit in Mail Call.
Yep. Well, no, that's a
speaking of which,
a pretty darn good good segue there, Doug, because it's time for the Mail Call.
Mail call!
If you're unfamiliar to Mail Call, this is a segment where John and myself answer questions that you, the fans, the listeners, the watchers on live editions like this, you send them to us via Twitter, via Facebook, via email, whatever, at Doug O'Mac, at John Alba, at the LTG Podcast primarily, at Wrestle_React. The email, of course, is the LTG Podcast at gmail.com if you even use email for stuff like this anymore. And, of course, Facebook /Wrestle Reaction. You can send us stuff there as well. Because those are the places and the avenues in which we send our show to you, that you get access to it, so we answer the questions that you provide. Acer has been a long-term supporter of everything we've ever done, and he has asked us, what are your thoughts about the competition that WWE Money in the Bank 2016 faced with the 2016 NBA Finals? I don't know what you mean about competition as far as viewership goes, because it's completely different.
Well, you can watch both at the same time.
You could watch both at the same time with the network on your iPad or phone, and the live show, either way. I had NBA on my phone. I was using my computer to talk to the LTG guys and get the show set up, whilst on the TV that I showed you earlier, I had Money in the Bank. So the television and streaming services have allowed us to view things differently. So it's not like, I'll say this, pay-per-view wise, I bet WWE didn't sell a lot of pay-per-views.
But that's okay. They don't care about pay-per-views anymore.
Correct.
And I will bet you that 30 million people in the United States watched that game.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I'd say that game did pretty well. But Money in the Bank was one of those pay-per-views that sells itself, which is why they probably felt okay with it going against a potential Game 7.
Correct.
That's what happened, and yeah, I'm sure they'll be fun. And people will be... and guess what? The game ended during the U.S. Championship match, so any of those dual fans were able to flip over and see the main event, which had the big payoff in the end. So
right,
that's fine. Keep going, Doug.
All right. Khalil asks, if Battleground is a week after the brand split, will we see brand-centric matches?
I don't think...
Yeah, it's a week after.
I don't think we will. I think it will happen like how it did with the first draft, where they did the draft, then there was a week of television, and then things got going. I think that's what will happen with Battleground, and I think the split will occur after Battleground.
I agree to that. I don't think there'll be brand-centric things on Battlegrounds. It's too close for comfort there. Nathan asks, what's your favorite and least John Cena match, and why?
By the way, how about Cena trolling on Twitter before the pay-per-view with the cease and desist?
You can't cease and desist me.
Amazing.
No, I had my buddy, he texted me as soon as Cena came out. I didn't even know he was watching the show, and he texted me. He goes, did Paps cave? Because Cena definitely had on the Paps shirt. I'll say this, and this is exactly what I told him. Either WWE paid Paps Blue Ribbon a substantial amount of money to be able to use this graphic, or WWE's highly paid legal team found some loophole or something. They came up with an agreement outside of everything to be able to produce this shirt, because it is exact, almost carbon copy of the logo.
By the way, I owe Robert O'Reilly an apology. I read his Twitter handle as Irish Bobak. It's Irish Bob UK. So,
yeah, I mean, Irish Bob, he's been around.
Yeah,
he's been around forever as well with Wrestle Reaction. Thank you for staying up, sir.
He has, and I apologize. I just misread the Twitter handle real quick because I'm multitasking. But yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, so what's your favorite John Cena match of all time?
Favorite John Cena match of all time is probably Money in the Bank 2011. Though, honestly, his match on Raw with Punk was just as good, if not better, from a technical standpoint, except I hated that was the first use of the Cena King Rana. I also love, and this is a super underrated Cena match, his last man standing match with Umaga at the Rumble.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
7.
It's very good.
My least favorite? I don't know, man. I absolutely... I don't know. I mean, there's so many matches the guys wrestled in. I can't think of one directly off the top of my head, to be honest.
I can think of a few, but I also can think of a few that I really liked. And I would say
the Ryback matches weren't very good.
I was going to say Ryback at Extreme Rules is probably one of my least favorite John Cena matches of all time. Favorites? Probably, I mean, Cena Punk on Raw, where we got a pile driver when that was totally illegal, was really good. I think my favorite John Cena match, though, probably Brock at Extreme Rules 2012.
Yeah, that. And then he had the great matches with HBK, too. I mean,
in 2000, yeah, I mean, you had great, what was that, 2006?
2007.
2007 with Shawn Michaels, good stuff. And then I loved his feud with Edge.
Yeah.
That was really good.
What else we got, Doug?
Jesse asked, will Jerry Lawler come back before the end of the year, if ever?
Maybe not.
I mean, the dude keeps spilling beans left and right. He was a health risk at ringside, which is one of the reasons they moved him off of live TV, which is why they moved him off of Raw onto SmackDown, because if something happened to him, they could edit it out, which is a terrible thing, but that's exactly why. And while heel Jerry Lawler coming back on SmackDown was great, working with Mauro Ranallo and having really good stuff there, that's all good and great, but it's almost the same thing with Ric Flair, where they're just kind of like, if they give us an excuse, we're going to take it. I would assume that he's done. Maybe he does kick off shows and stuff, maybe, if he comes back at all. But yeah, and his second part of the question is, Graves the best choice to replace him on SmackDown? If it's Graves outside of tonight, yes.
Yeah.
Graves seemed a little hungover.
He took a nap.
Show.
Yeah. He took a nap.
He was wearing a fedora, just looked out of place. Seemed a little hungover. Yeah. We'll see what happens there. But yes, Corey Graves, one of my favorite things about NXT. Love his commentary. Love MR. Love Corey Graves. It looks like they're probably going to do JBL, Michael Cole, Byron Saxton on Raw, Corey Graves, Mauro Ranallo, David Otunga on SmackDown.
Maybe. Otunga wasn't very good on main event. I watched.
I'm not saying he's good, but neither is Byron Saxton.
Ziggler was actually not that bad. I thought he was pretty decent, to be honest. But,
Well, they're gonna want to put different shades of people on the commentary teams. It's the whole reason they had Booker T. It's the whole reason Byron Saxon's doing 2 different teams right now. And that's why they've moved David Otunga off of the Raw pre-show onto main event to try to become a better commentator. I would assume they're going to put him down on SmackDown at some point so that Byron doesn't have to do both shows with the brand split.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes because God knows the Raw team sucks exponentially. It's so bad. Ed asked, was Tuesday's technical difficulties on Impact on Pop too much symbolism of the state of TNA?
Yeah, for those who don't know, Pop TV just totally went down during a heavily promoted live episode of Impact that aired almost all commercials for an hour and 53 minutes. And then TNA got a re-air the next day, which, I mean, this was not TNA's fault at all.
No, it's not.
Pop, but definitely a microcosm for sure, huh?
I have nothing. It was so laughable. As soon as y'all said, well, it's commercials. Well, this is atrocious, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well,
Brother Nero.
This just is it's very convenient.
Brother
Very
Nero.
convenient. Oh my goodness gracious. Jay asked, where are they going with Darren Young and Bob Backlund?
Nowhere.
It's not interesting. What's the payoff going to be? Brother, I have no idea. It's just something stupid they're doing because of Donald Trump. It is the segments are atrocious. I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea where it's going to go. I don't care.
It's going towards Rusev. It's going towards Rusev.
It is because the whole America and U.S. champion thing, and he just took out Titus O'Neil. But I and Darren Young referenced the primetime players. Like there's no beef between them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's going. But I don't care, and it's dumb, and I can't.
Rusev should put Backlund in the camel clutch. So.
Oh my God, he should, and call him a jabroni the whole time. It'd be fantastic. Neil asks, why does WWE feel the need to turn the crowd volume down on the old ECW pay-per-views on the network?
It's so funny that he says that because I was watching not even just old ECW pay-per-views. I was watching One Night Stand 05 yesterday, and there it is heavily edited in that regard too.
Well, you want the simple answer?
Well, because they were chanting dirty things.
As someone that tape traded in the 90s, as someone that tape traded ECW in the 90s, as much as they put TVMA as the logo before it, and yes, they have a dirty cartoon that's labeled TVMA, they're going to, and a lot of the stuff they've already edited for previous DVDs, for previous, like, you know, the best of ECW DVDs that came out, the Bloodsport DVDs, those volume 1s, volume 2, volume 3, they've edited a lot of it out already, and they're going to try to keep doing that. They're going to miss some things, but a lot of the foul language that's used from the crowd, which was part of ECW's gimmick, a lot of the stuff like that is going to get edited, and that's why it's cut down a lot. It's that simple. They're just trying to minimize the filth, which sucks for people that have tape traded and know exactly what was said there. But then you kind of go, I'm glad I saw that live or on a tape a long time ago because I know exactly what was said there. Benjamin, it's kind of like when you know that Seth Rollins used the curb stomp to win the title and that you'll never see that footage again unless you go back and actually they haven't edited it out of the match yet. They're going to leave it in the match. But any kind of promo they show with him winning the title, you're not going to see the curb stomp. But you're like, I know what happened there. Same kind of thing. Benjamin asks, what will the Gimmick SummerSlam match be for Cena versus Styles 3 if they get that far?
Too early to tell. Can't get there yet.
I mean, no idea. Don't even know if it's going to be Cena versus Styles.
Might not be.
Could not be. Hoyt is going to give us our last question. Jonathan Hoyt asks, when will Ambrose cash in his briefcase?
I
wanted to keep that one in. He literally sent that right when he won the briefcase, and I was like, I'm gonna add it, and then when he cashes in, or if he cashes in tonight, we'll say he already did. Hoyt, ask better questions.
In time.
He cashed it in tonight. That's what happened.
It was good. It was good. You should go back and watch it.
And then you'll know what happened because you saw it before they changed anything. I will say this to their credit. No deafening of the crowd tonight.
Nope, it was great. The camera shots weren't very good tonight, but it was
camera shots were bogus, especially during that tag match.
Yeah, the Cena style finish. The camera was moving around the turnbuckle as the 3 count was going on, but whatever.
Yeah.
They can't all be from the station. Am I right, Doug?
No, they can't. You're right.
From the station. We got one more segment here. Name That Dirt Sheet will return next week. In the meantime, it's the top 5.
Top 5.
The top 5 is presented to you by Squared Circle Entertainment, as it is every single week. Your number one go-to destination on Facebook for all sports entertainment-related discussion. Just simply search Squared Circle Entertainment on Facebook and request your membership today. We're doing our top 5 moments, our top 5 things that you want to see leading up to the draft here, Doug, and we're just going to kind of spitball here. We haven't planned this out. What do you got? What's your 5?
Number 5, I want to see more of this tag division. I want to see more matches between Enzo and Cass, the Vaudevillains, the Club, and the New Day. I think they started something very good tonight as far as making sure that all four teams looked strong. And I'm looking forward to see where it goes. That being said, with this tag division, I'm also looking forward to seeing what other hijinks Breezango gets themselves into.
Yeah, I agree. I agree on that. My number 5, I want to see them put investment in this congruent women's program. Start bringing another name into the fold because you have to get these women on television before they get drafted. And I think that's super important. And make no mistake about this, guys. Tonight was the end of normalcy because the next 4 weeks of WWE programming are going to be all about the upcoming draft.
Yep.
So make no mistake about that.
Yeah, that's my number 4. If I had to do it number 4, I would say women's stuff needs to get better, needs to get more fulfilled, and not just what we talked about on the podcast last week. We've said it multiple times. Not just one-off matches, not just let's focus on Charlotte and whoever she's facing this week. You know, we saw Paige come in and get victories out of nowhere, and she's been on the show hardly at all. So can we not keep using Paige at this level? Like she's a former champion. Can we not keep using Paige? Fans love Paige. Why can't we keep using her? Sasha Banks, before the match even started tonight, fans were chanting, "We want Sasha. She's healthy. Bring her back. Bring her into the fold." I don't understand why they're still waiting on this. Bailey should be coming up. You need Sasha for that. You need to be building these women up to be formidable opponents. Becky Lynch is over. Charlotte's over. You're trying to get Dana Brooke over. We'll see how that goes. Natty is now doing something interesting. Can't we not use Paige? Use the girls that you have from Total Divas to do that. You have Nikki Bella should be coming back by SummerSlam. That's going to be an interesting part of the draft as well because she probably won't be part of the official draft, but she will be back in the fold and on a brand that comes SummerSlam, hopefully. So you've got different things happening. Make the women mean something again.
My number 4 is going to be I want to keep seeing these people throw their names into the hat for the general managers of the respective brands.
Yes.
I enjoyed the Kane stuff this past week. I thought it was fun. The Undertaker writing a letter of recommendation for him. That was creative. What do you know? Creative. It was creative. Look at that. I want to keep seeing more of that stuff. People from the past throwing their names.
I'm back.
And maybe.
Than ever.
He is out there now, so maybe.
Yeah, I'm all for that as well.
What's your 3?
Talked about it last week. Thought it was great. My number 3, I want to see where this Cena and Styles thing goes. I want to see if this gets us to them being on different brands or being on the same brand, because I do think that it has legs. I think that it can go to SummerSlam. It's just going to be hard to do that if they get put on different shows. So I want to see what they're going to do here creatively to make it make sense.
For sure. for sure. That's my number 3 as well. This is your most interesting feud you have going outside of this Shield triple threat stuff. Obviously, the Shield triple threat you could pick, but let's let that, as I keep saying this word, marinate. Let's see where that goes. Styles and Cena, they have a chance to really continue to open some eyes here and build more depth to this AJ Styles character that we're seeing in WWE. Man, this guy is great, and he is elusive. He is versatile. I hope we see more and more out of him. I'm going to give you my number 2 here real quick. This is coming off something that we read today. Randy Orton is being advertised for August live events. I want to see his name being thrown around. Heck, I would like to see him return at the draft if possible.
Yeah. All for that as well. Adding on to Randy Orton, I'm interested to see what names start popping up for the draft. Like when they start teasing, this is my number 2. Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, they start saying these are like my dream picks and all that kind of stuff. I want to start seeing names like Samoa Joe get thrown in. I want to see Finn Balor. I want to see Bayley. I want to see Randy Orton. I want to see names like Nikki Bella even. I want to see these names pop up, then put importance on their names. I want to see how these general managers / owners of the brands treat the superstars, because they need to be treated as important superstars. They need to make people feel important. Like, I'm fighting you over getting Kevin Owens. I'm fighting you over getting Sami Zayn. I'm fighting you over bringing Finn Balor up. Like, fight for these guys. Apollo Crews just had a good showing, stole a win for the New Era. They should make it feel like Apollo Crews is a big draft pick.
I agree wholeheartedly. Your number 1, Doug?
My number 1 is I want to, on top of we've talked in full about the Shield triple threat and where that goes, and you and I both talked about how we pretty much believed that Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns would be on the same show, and maybe Dean Ambrose would be on SmackDown or on Raw, whichever one they aren't, so that he gets to shine in a different limelight. I'm interested to see, when it comes to the draft leading up to this, how they present these guys, like how they present the Shield, how they present these guys, because there's so much money on the triple threat, which I do believe probably will happen at Battleground, because then they're going to be split. I don't think all 3 of these guys are going to be on the same roster. So I'm interested to see how this plays out, how the split in the roster happens, to see if these 3 guys are going to be together, because I don't think that they will be. I want to see how, again, creatively, how they're going to get us past Battleground with these 3 guys.
Yeah, that's my number 1 as well. That's where this has to happen at SummerSlam. It has to. That's your big match. That's your big night. It has to, but I'm just not so sure. I don't know. I'm with you, man. And another thing just to keep in mind, too, Triple H is lurking around the corner as Shane starts to get a little more power here. Just keep that in mind, too.
And I have to say, because I think it gets lumped into these 3 guys, I'm interested to see if they're going to split the title, because the title getting split with the Money in the Bank gone, and the fact that they are, Jerry the King Lawler, one of the things he let loose when he was spilling the beans was the fact that brands are probably going to there's going to be a brand-centric show on the network once a month, which means there's going to be a Raw pay-per-view and a SmackDown pay-per-view, 2 pay-per-views a month, except for the big 4, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, WrestleMania. Outside of those 4, there's going to be 2 different pay-per-views every month. So to me, that screams they're going to split these titles up, especially getting that Money in the Bank gone. So where are they going to? Is the secondary title going to be put on? And I say secondary title because that's how they treated it before. Are they going to make the title seem important? Are they going to put the one title on Roman, one title on Dean? What are they going to do? How are they going to break this thing up?
Absolutely. We have just a little bit of time left to see what happens, but it is very, very, very exciting. Good pay-per-view overall this past evening. We enjoyed it. We hope you guys enjoyed this live edition of the LTG Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the LTG Podcast, at Wrestle_React, at John Alba, at Doug O'Mac. Share this freaking podcast, people. We love the love, and we love you back. So make sure you spread the word of the LTG. Doug, any final words here?
I guess we'll see. Oh, yeah, and Benjamin Teacher just brought this up as well as we're leaving. Final thoughts. If Roman Reigns gets a title match because his rematch clause is still intact, then Triple H should have a rematch clause.
Very true.
Just leave you on that. Just leave you on that. Not only is he lurking behind Shane, but he has a rematch clause with Roman Reigns, which never got into place. So if the one with Roman makes sense, Triple H's has to make sense. We'll see if they go that way, because I bet that they will run. They will roll that drum and use WWE logic to say they don't have the rematch clause.
That's all we got for you this week, and we leave you with one final note.
Hey, Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell. We're out of here. Straight to hell.
And we are out. Thanks to everyone who stuck around for that. A lot of fun. Make sure you share this when it's online tomorrow morning. We appreciate it, guys. We always do. Thank you for the live questions. Great stuff. Great stuff as always. And, we're approaching 1 year of living the gimmick, believe it or not. We're going to have some surprises up our sleeves. So make sure you wait around for that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for staying up late with us. I mean, some of y'all are across the pond, so thank you for that. I know it's late.
Absolutely. Late. And make sure you watch Wrestle Reaction tomorrow night after Raw. It will be great.
If they have it tomorrow night.
If they have
it, it'll be Wednesday because AJ Styles is on the Stone Cold podcast.
That's very possible. So it might be Wednesday, but you should definitely check it out whenever it happens.
True
and it'll be great.
True that, yo.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. You have a good night.
Later on, peeps.